So you just finished God of War, and you're wondering to yourself, what now? The God of War community has come to grow exponentially over the past couple of years. Thousands, if not millions, of people have come to love the character of Kratos and who he has become, who he was and what he will do. But now that you finished God of War Ragnarok, you're a bit worried. What comes next for Kratos or the future of God of War games? Where can Santa Monica go with what they have now? Is this really the end of Kratos and Atreus? Is this really the end of God of War? Well, I'm not even sure myself. All I know is that these games that Santa Monica has made taught me a few things over the years. Things I never would have expected a game to teach me. I learned to hope when there's not much to hope for, to care more for those who deserve it and not so much for those who don't, and to lower my expectations, and I'm not always gutted by the outcomes of this reality. That despite all the bad things that could happen to you, there is always something to live for. That the actions that dictate us don't really come from a place of hatred, but ironically we do the things we do because of love. Kratos has taught me to make my own path, and to never give up or give in to the things that seem inevitable. Kratos has taught me that real strength comes from within, that actions speak louder than words, and that we need to give space to those we love and those that are hurt. I played the first God of War game the year it was released with my mom and dad when I was barely just 2 years old. I don't remember much of my life when I was at that age, but my fondest memory of those days was because of that game and how it brought me and my family closer together. Albeit, back then the game was not meant for a child of my age. None of us knew better. Santa Monica taught me the concept of grief before I even fully understood what death even was. God of War taught me to appreciate the people around me and to savor the good moments I have with them, even if they won't last long. God of War Ragnarok may be the last God of War game, but it definitely won't be the end of God of War. God of War Ragnarok was one of the best things I've ever experienced, and I'm probably only saying that because I'm biased. Although, there was one thing I believe Santa Monica Studios could have done to make the game better, and that was to include Athena in some sort of way, have her have a bigger impact to the story. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I'm here to discuss the future of God of War. We all know that at the end of Ragnarok, we see a shrine depicting Kratos being worshipped as a rebuilder rather than a destroyer. So that notion we all had of Kratos going to other pantheons to kill the gods there doesn't make sense anymore. What I think is going to happen, I think that as seen at the beginning of the shrine will go back to Greece. But why, I'm not really sure. But if I had to guess, I'd say that gods of another pantheon will be there in an attempt to take over the domain. Gods like maybe the Egyptian ones, and Kratos stops them, brings peace to the people, and therefore is loved by all. But that's just an educated guess. The future of God of War is quite unknown. All we could do is wait and be grateful for what we got, and the story we got to hear.